Let's get to the bottom of this one. Unspoken truths that I miss one. Tap into the minds of the people, rather acknowledge before I dismiss one. Atheists, Muslim, Christians, Buddhists, they all got usage. All got perspective, it's a collective. Get to the bottom where the truth is, where the heart's uncovered. Where you detox from all of the lies you smothered. When them tries to kill you, but with faith you recover. Yup. Peel off the makeup, we finna take off. Never said it'd be a cakewalk. Meditate till we charged up. Execute goes regardless. Decalcify my pineal. Breaking language barriers, we saw millennials. Planets passing age rotations, down me we owe. So down me we know. Sometimes we can be slow, that's why my ears open. Every drop you add could complete the ocean. Speak up, play your part too. Been vulnerable, it's so hard to.
Hi, everybody. I apologize. Instagram did its thing again. Technology has whatever it wants. So I had to go and make sure that Instagram is going to be able to go live. For some reason, if I hold it up too long, it gets ugly. But yeah, that's how it is. So I want to do something different real quick tonight than I normally do. I'd like to have everybody say something that they're proud of themselves about while they're introducing themselves. So make sure that Instagram is. Let me shut the back noise off. Apologize. So I'm going to start it off. I am Universe Badger. And what I'm proud of myself, I'm proud of myself with my intellectual intelligence and the control I have over it. Now, those that don't receive that properly, it's because what I'm trying to say is that I am able to handle myself in any situation and be able to be mindful of myself and control my actions. A lot of people have a hard time with that when it comes to the moment. So I'm proud of myself with working on that and being able to master that. I'm pretty good at it. So, I mean, and not to toot my own horn, it's a beautiful thing and I'm proud of myself for it. I'm going to pass the mic on to my SUN.
Hi, I am Moon Tortoise, and I'm proud of you too, Badger. And I'm proud of myself for really pushing myself towards my goals and making large accomplishments towards them. I like the way the universe pays off sometimes, and hard work.
Okay. We're going to pass it on to the secrets.
Oh dear.
I know. Secrets.
Please come back.
No, your voice needs to be heard. You're muted. Secrets. I cannot unmute you. You have to unmute yourself.
Oh dear. Well,
it's breaking up.
I am
definitely. I'm on my way.
There she is.
You're coming over? Secrets of the Moon is probably coming here to do this show. Anyhow, so
good.
We will skip Secrets of the Moon real quick and we will go to our guest.
Hello. I would say one thing I'm proud of is survival, really. Survival. Rudy, sorry, we got a dog here.
It's okay. We do too.
Survival in the sense that able to take your experiences and learn from them and help others.
I like that. I like that.
Love it.
Chili Mo in the comments, Cool Vibes introduces, what are you thankful for?
I'm glad to be in attendance, Chili Mo. We all thank you at Sensing Twisted Truth being in our lives, sweetie.
Aw, thank you.
So, Kimberly's running away. Oh, we got some stuff going on.
Come on. No, Secrets of the Moon is supposed to be coming over. We had a rule, if the internet is not that good, you have to leave your house. The thing is though, I'm not gonna be a spokesman from Spectrum, I promise you. Not at all. I don't got Spectrum. Anyway, so let's
how does
start
he
off.
know?
Let's start off the show with a question.
Okay. Welcome to the show, and I'm going to be happy to be asking you a bunch of questions here, just because. So, personal journey and identity. What was growing up in Mansfield like for you? How did that shape your purpose today?
Growing up in Mansfield, I'm from San Antonio, Texas, so I moved here when I was younger, and I moved here in the, I'm much older, so we moved here in the late 70s, early 80s, and Mansfield racially was always very black and white. There wasn't a lot of kids, that we see these days, multiracial, biracial, Hispanic, and that was really rough in terms of ethnically, trying to figure out where you fit in, and then for me, as I'm coming of age, coming to grips with my sexuality and my creativity, it was always a struggle. But I always found comfort in knowing that people I work with or people I was friends with were all going through maybe not similar things, but their own inner conflicts. And Mansfield, we're on the verge of a reawakening. We have a lot of great things happening in the city. We also have a lot of areas of improvement that we need to do that directly impacts people's lives. So I think, just going back to what I was saying, my experiences growing up here, I think have helped mold my leadership in ways of really trying to empathize and work with a lot of people who are feel like they're either underrepresented or they're not taken seriously.
Okay.
Definitely like that. That resonates.
Yeah, I like that.
Are we moving through questions, or are we gonna kind of expand on them, Badger? How do you feel?
It doesn't matter. We can expand. It doesn't matter. I want, because we were on the same frequency in a beautiful environment, and it was full of love and giving back, and it was a great thing. And I met you, and not knowing who you are, because I'm not from Mansfield. And this is what we do. We love to give back and help. And I got a list of things that we've done, and we're not finished. And to be connected with you, and you fit right into our puzzle of our life of what we have. So I would love to know more about you and who you are and what gave you the drive to do what you're doing.
I loved your vibe at the K-Day celebration, the 5th annual K-Day. I saw you. I'm like, okay, who is that? I just, you stood out in a really good way. You ever see people in the community, you're like, that's someone I want to get to know or someone I want to be friends with. So I'm glad that you came over and you introduced. And I love the question that you asked, because the first question that you talked about was my stance on mental health. And I was like, wow, we can be like a trilogy in terms of podcasts and stuff. So I'm glad that we connected in that way, because those are things very close to my heart. There's a lot of folks we work with in the community and who have a lot of unmet mental health or behavioral needs. And I think there's a lot of reasons for that. I mean, I was just talking before, I grew up, my brother, my sister here in town, and ultimately, a single parent who had mother who had her own traumas from growing up from a generation where you don't talk about things, you keep it on the inside. I think that's really close to some cultures. And that affects how you parent, and it affects because you have to put yourself on the back burner, even though you have fully healed. So those experiences, I think now that I'm adult, I see what she sacrificed to raise us and to do so with a brave heart, and jobs I was naturally gravitated towards were always in human services, and then working with people from youth, homeless, respite, people with sexual offenses, everything, and that these people belong in our community, and we need to do what we need to do to advocate for them. And that's kind of shaped my leadership and my creativity aspect too. My passion is singing and music. I'm a creative. So how can we dovetail that with human services and advocacy? And I never would have thought I was going to be part of local government because I'm not a political person. So it all just kind of happened unplanned.
How do you separate being a spiritual being to having, because you don't believe in that no party, all people? What does that mean to you? What does no party, all people mean to you?
Yeah, I think for me, it made a lot of sense because I've always felt unharnessed. And, when I first got involved with local government, I was told that you had to pick a party. And my family historically were the type of family where they just voted down the ballot, D, 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 and didn't ask questions. And I was kind of into that mind frame as a young adult. I didn't do my research. I didn't see who these candidates and leaders were. And I probably voted for a lot of people who didn't deserve to be in office. So when I was elected, and as I'm campaigning, I experienced just as much racism, homophobia, division from people who claim they're liberal. And so it was just very confusing. So that's when I really started to open my eyes and be like, yeah, this red against blue isn't what I want to sign up for, because I felt like that's taken away from actually helping people and making a difference. And since I've gone independent, it's been the best thing ever. I can equally represent everyone in my ward. I can, whereas if I were in the party, I might be discouraged to support or interact with the enemy, which I don't believe in. So that's why I'm very, I don't really think, I'm not political like that. I'm going to always do what's right, what I feel is right for people, and make sure that I can help in suffering. But I'm also learning in the process. I say when I went independent, the biggest thing I learned was how judgmental I was, because I was very much in that mindset of, that resident looks a certain way, so they must be hateful, they must be racist, they must be this, and they weren't. So it was me who was causing all the chaos. So that, I think, is something I'm not afraid to admit, and it's helped me become a better leader. It's helped me connect with other folks, and ultimately, I've established a lot of friendships in the process because I wasn't scared to connect with people. I think if I would have stayed in that party rut, I wouldn't be where I am now.
Tortoise,
Oh my
what do you
goodness.
feel about that?
Yes. Well, I'm in Mansfield these days, but I had a lot of business I had to take care of here in Michigan, and just the tortoise has got to move around and do tortoise things. So here I am in Michigan. Sad that I missed the event now. I noticed going to Mansfield that, how can I say it? It does feel like a lot of people, because I dress the same way I do every day. I'm like the way I do now. I am the way I am, and I caught a lot of eye flack for that. And I know it sounds harmless, but a lot of people, they look at you and it's like, oh, that looked just as attempted murder, with a stare. So I'm like, all right, I don't feel 100% safe all the time. And that resonated with me when you said that. So, I feel like you got to stay on your toes in certain situations like that. Your views on politics, though, and how that represents people, especially demographics of people you're talking about, like liberals who maybe fall into the category of maybe middle of the road, more middle of the road, and people who say one thing and maybe mean another. It feels like I don't know, like I hit a fresh Sprite on a 90-degree day. A lot of this two-party system is a diversionary tactic, I feel, to really drive a wedge between people. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, I really feel that it's when I was real in the thick of being in a party, there were, you're kind of pushed to endorse and support others who deep in your heart that they don't have good characters and that they're not being honest. And I just think that's kind of like, I'm not going to do that at all. And when I was campaigning in my ward, I was told to knock on Democrat doors. I'm like, no, I'm going to knock on every single door here, because if I'm elected, I have to, and I want to support anyone, because that's my background. Is I've done case management forever, so and it's also what I also wanted to help redefine what that role is. How can we make it more outreach and less political? And that's why I love it so much.
That's what we need to know.
Really...
That's what we talk about all the time, because we want to get out there in the streets more and help more in the streets here. And we want to know, because I don't believe like Moon Tortoise does. To me, I see rainbows and butterflies everywhere I go, and no one can tell me I'm wrong, because it's my eyes I see out of. So I don't have to believe in none of that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't have to believe there's a war going on somewhere. Somebody else sees it, so somebody else believes it. I'm not telling them they're wrong. I don't have to see that. So all I see is my purpose while I'm here to free myself from me, so that I can be let go of this repeated cycle of unlearned behaviors that I do to myself intentionally.
Yeah.
So I think differently from that part, even though that's why my yin is my yang, to me, that's why my SUN is part of my life, because my SUN shows me that there's also this, though. You may be okay and feel the way you feel, but this also is going on. Other people see this. And I forget, because we had an event one time, and I tell the story often, and I'm not thinking some type of way, which people do think. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking like a child. I'm thinking with love. I'm thinking with discernment. I'm not thinking of any other way. I may not be perceived that way, though, but that's not my problem, because that's not my intent. We were going to have bathhouses, and I wanted to set up bathhouses, not knowing that bathhouses also meant something different.
Yeah.
And I said that we had a bunch of them, and I was like, what's wrong with that? And Moon Torch is like, you can't go to Everyone Eats Homeless event and offer bathhouses. And I said, why not? And that's when reality hit, because everybody doesn't see it the way I do.
Yeah. No, you're right. And then you throw in culture and everything, experience, and then it's a whole different ballgame.
I did have something I wanted to mention that you had mentioned, that was being where you are in kind of the political spectrum. It offers you opportunities to talk to people who maybe you wouldn't want to talk to, and maybe do that with kind of a better tone. I think that's a really important aspect that doesn't get brought up enough, is talking to the enemy, so to speak, or your opponent, political opponent kind of thing, because that needs to happen a lot more. And I appreciate your view on that.
Thank you. And I've also lost friendships. I think in the beginning, they're 4-year terms. I got in office in 22, and I'm currently in re-election for next year. But the minute I started to ask questions, the minute I started to have friendships with people who look differently than me, who were on the different political spectrum, a lot of people, not a lot, but a handful of people who I really consider friends were the main ones who came from me on social media. Rather than call or text me, they would tag me in these really awful, untrue things. So it took me about a year to really get a thick skin with that, because it was hurtful. I didn't care when it was people in the public, in the community I didn't know, but it did matter when it was close friends saying things like, oh, he's sold out, he's playing both sides of the fence. Well, I'm thinking, aren't you proud that I have friends who are Republican and Democrat? To me, it means a lot that I can endorse someone who is either conservative and liberal both, because I'm supporting them as a person, and we're not going to agree on every single thing. But the more growth I encountered, that I experienced, it was met with some friendships ending. And now I accept that and I embrace it and I'm fine with it because I've developed a lot more um, uh, non-judgmental relationships.
I love that. I love that. I want to read these comments really quick, Moon Tortoise, and then I want to
Sure.
say something. We'll go to the next one.
This is Michelle Isaac. You have been an amazing support to me and my family, Aurelio.
I love Michelle and her family. Oh my gosh, Michelle, you probably met her. She huge advocate. Tragically lost her nephew. He's Trenton Ray Ray. He is one of several young men who that's an unsolved murder, and it's devastating. I couldn't imagine having someone in my family, they were undeserving, their life taken undeservingly, and having no answers. And so I met Michelle and her family, and just trying to be that best. I know I'm not able to, I'm not a prosecutor, I'm not a law director, but I can still hopefully shine some awareness and frustration and pain that they're feeling as a person, and hoping that will encourage people to come forth with details that they have. And she's the type of leader I like. She's in the forefront, the front lines, making a difference. Thank you, Michelle. I love you.
I don't know who it was, but there
That's
was a
awesome.
lady with a beautiful orange dress on that day. And I had to let her know how beautiful that she looked with that orange. The energy I felt was somebody that was not hurt a lot and had a lot of loss. And their dress spoke their volume of their pain and their courage. And I don't recall who it was, because I'm not really good at remembering things like that. I remember the important things, and that's how I don't go off of what I see. I go off of what I feel.
Yeah.
So I remember how someone felt to me,
Yeah.
because I have a problem with my vision and I don't see well anyways. So I'm all about feelings. So I'll tell you how someone felt to me.
Yeah.
More than I will their name.
Yeah, and Michelle was there with her family members of Ray Ray, and they've conducted a lot of events to bring awareness, and answers. And they have a plan for next Thursday at North Lake Park from 6:30 to 9. And I think that these families have the right to feel the anger and the loss and hurt. It's all hurt turned inside out, and my for them, and it just it's I think about their family and other folks who've lost their youth to violence, and people who are homeless, and you feel so powerless, and I'm gonna get emotional because because that they should be experiencing that in the first place, and that you have limited power to really help anyone. And I think it'd be the worst thing for those people to wait and wait and wait for something to happen. And so on one hand, for her to say these nice things about me is so heartwarming, but you also feel very defeated when you're not able to help the folks like you want them to.
I agree. We had a situation. I got more comments. Go ahead, Moon Tortoise, and I'm gonna get to it.
Negus Rain as peace, everybody. How's it going? Thank you. Harold Wayman Jr. Aurelio's the best. You got some support. That's amazing. That's awesome. Becky Davis.
My mom.
Did you want to go? Oh yeah, Becky Davis. My son Aurelio Diaz, Mansfield City Council, Ward 5. Michelle Isaac. No, I can keep up. Fast Tortoise. Michelle Isaac, we need more people like you, genuine, showing love and support everywhere you go. Love you, Aurelio. Thank you.
Thank you. I got a high.
It happens. Heat of the moment.
Yeah. I thought I was jumping off a cliff. I felt all that. So listen to this. When we first started the show, we're going on, I want to say 4 years, but time just keeps going. So I can't recall exactly when we started it. But I want to say it was 4 years. It'd be 4 years this month. No, 4 years in July. It was 4 years in July.
Wow.
I want to say it was 4 years in July. We're not quite sure. But anyhow, when we first started this, we ruffled a lot of feathers and came up with a lot of things and been called a lot of things and accused of a lot of things. And what I've noticed is that people that cannot see themselves rather point the finger with judgment. because it makes them feel better about what they went through.
Yeah.
And it also gives like a blanket to what someone's went through. Some people say things not because they want to relate or understand. And I don't like to use the word understand, yet it fits for those that don't receive it. They rather just make an excuse for things than take what it is for what it is and grow from it and learn from it and become free from it. It's comforting to feel the pain from it because that's something that a lot of people can relate to.
Yeah. My friend Christy Berg, she's an artist in Mansfield, and she's an author, and she said something to me once when she knew I was kind of internalizing, some anger and confusion when people were like, for me, for local government. And she said, remember that when they come at you, it's a reflection of how they feel about themselves. And she said that all times. I'm like, you know what? That's true. So then it did help to not take it personal. So that's definitely helped me like see but then react, because I'm human. Sometimes I've like snapped back at people, but now I'm like, okay, let me be more, let me pause and reassess this. And
that's what I was saying that I was proud of myself about, is having that ability to reassess before I react.
Yeah.
And it's hard. It was the hardest thing to do. Like, I had to relearn how to love myself all over again. And then from learning to love myself, I had to learn control over my emotions and realize what I could and couldn't change and what I could and couldn't allow it affect me. We had a situation where Moon Tortoise was advocating for somebody and spreads themselves very thin. Moon Tortoise does very, very, very thin. Multitasks everywhere you go, including the shower. Just spread yourself very thin, because Moon Tortoise has that drive to do more. And Moon Tortoise took it personal because a lot was happening, but thought that they should have been able to answer the phone that one time that they decided to take in themselves out of the game.
Yeah.
And it was hard for me to see that and to go and grow with that through Moon Tortoise without being able to say, I see what you're saying and I feel your pain, without me being able to relate to exactly what Moon Tortoise was going through. It was hard for me to receive that. We said today that people can see whatever they want to see, and people can think whatever they want to think. No one else can tell you you're wrong for what you see, and no one else can tell you you're wrong for what you think, because they're not in your eyes or your head.
No, I agree.
And so I can relate to the fact of having that pain to someone you love and you're not able to do anything about it. You can't help them.
We can't. It's mental health work could be really, really heavy sometimes. It just is. You gotta give some thick ass skin. This shit happens. Really.
Yeah.
So I can imagine that
brains are dangerous.
I imagine you deal with a lot. Sit here. I imagine you deal with a lot through mental health and being a councilman, that you have to disassociate and separate yourself from a lot of things. I'm gonna let Moon Tortoise tell her things that she's proud of herself about.
Are we married?
What?
Who?
Me and Moon Tortoise? Were you talking to me?
Oh, I'm talking Secrets of the Moon. I apologize.
Married?
There's so many moons here. No.
I don't remember.
Her secret. Go ahead. Hold on.
Okay, where am I jumping into?
You're gonna actually tell what you're proud of yourself about.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm most proud of myself for I would say letting go. I have a sense to harbor over things, or I wouldn't say hold grudge, because I'm not bitter about anything, but I always hold on to things, and I've been like letting things go. So
a hoarder that is relieving themselves of stuff.
I am, whoa, that's extreme. I am not a hoarder. I'm emotional.
You have hoarder tendencies.
I do.
But
I
you're
do.
removing yourself from those, and you're acknowledging them and removing them.
But when you think of hoarder, you think of bugs and dust. And I have a clean hoarder. I just hoarder like paper, things from like my childhood, like memories, things like that. Yeah, whatever I go through, I savor it until I can't anymore, or someone forces me to do it.
But I think it's huge. You know, it's hard to quit holding grudges. I did that for a very long time, and so I think that's a huge triumph because I think when you quit holding grudges, there's a part of yourself you have to tell yourself, okay, I'm wrong, or I have to look in the mirror and figure out things that I did. When it's a lot easier to really focus on what the other person did. I spent half my adult life holding grudges, and it's do that.
Or I have a better one, even like going to the point of just forgiving. You know, if it's in that sense, you just have to forgive and move on.
Yeah.
It's toxic to just hold on to it all the time.
And that's what we're society. I would say I've been on the forgiveness journey for the past 2-3 years, but we don't. I wish more people would do that. I think you have to, naturally get there.
Yeah. So that's what I'm proud of myself for.
Yeah, good.
Moon Tortoise.
I like this little ensemble.
Moon Tortoise, are you with us?
Tortoise here.
So I have
Tortoise
comments.
here. I had to get my thing. I am coming for comments.
Okay. And then I need to read another question.
Almost there. Inbound. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I had to get my charger. Dang. Okay, we have Mary Paquette. Yes, a reflection of what they do, not like in themselves. Not like, yeah.
Sure enough.
Mary's a good friend.
Mary's a beautiful soul, and Mary does a lot with the women's group around her area. And Moon Tortoise has a better idea of explaining it than I do because I'm secondhand in love with Mary. Moon Tortoise is right there, firsthand in love.
Mary is a wonderful person. It's my boyfriend's mother. And she does a lot of political action stuff around the area with her non-denominational church, which is pretty cool. They put talks on and events for, did a couple of talks with pipelines involving not shutting down pipelines and then the ICE protests, obviously, it was going on. A lot of freedom of speech. Good stuff. Love her. Glad to have you, Mary. Chili Mo. It doesn't matter how much you love someone. You are never going to be what that person wants you to be. Quoted from the book Mastery of Love by Don Miguel Ruiz, Officer of the Four Agreements, also.
Which we're going to talk about on Thursday's show. Thank you, Chili Mo, for putting that out there. That's exactly what we're going to talk about on Thursday. Not this Thursday, but the following Thursday show. We're going to do 45 minutes of reading that book, and we're going to discuss it because a lot of things we allow ourselves to grow through, and we can actually stop long as we realize it and have control over it. And we have to release. We have to not only accept, but we have to release. So what is our next question, Moon Tortoise?
Well, our next question, now we have a problem. Some of these questions are being answered just as we are going. So I'm trying to pick a good question to keep it rolling, right? Was there a specific moment when you knew you were called to serve in the community, not just exist in it? I think that could be a good one.
I think ever since I was a kid, I think we've all experienced standing out and being made feel really bad about it, whether it's bullied or ridicule, and so I would say from a very young age, just seeing how my mother struggled, what she endured as a woman raising her 3 kids. I think also the things that really were formidable and leading me to where I'm at is struggling, not having the things that we needed, and somewhat being ashamed of our being poor and being dirty and wearing buddies and all this stuff. I think that made us also be hypersensitive to people who were in this worse situations that we were. I don't know. I think all those I could have been on a whole different path of being angry, but I think it helped maybe be more had more compassion, and I just naturally wanted to know, wanted to just interact with different people, and I think also the creativity, poetry, like that helped me express myself, and hearing other people's creative their lives through creativity also kind of gave me that awakening. And then there's age. The older I get, the more I'm like, wow, I wish I knew that 15 years ago.
You weren't ready to receive
So
it
that's-
then, though. 15 years
No,
ago, you weren't
the
ready to
hindsight.
receive it.
No, I was still growing.
Yes. You wouldn't appreciate it the way it was. I'm a survivor of domestic violence. I fought for my life. The same month that I tried taking, or that I did my ethers, I begged for life in front of my 4-year-old grandchild, and I was actually just fornicating with somebody, and they took it very serious. And I was kidding, and they were serious. And they said, if I can't have you, nobody would. And they meant that. And they came back a week later and tried. And I just picked myself up. I went homeless and got on my feet and realized I had to do a lot of changing, because I was expecting something different by doing the same thing always. And I wasn't getting a different outcome. So I kept bumping my head. And then when I realized, okay, I'm 50, maybe I should stop bumping my head and just figure it out. But it had to bump my head to be who I am today. So I'm grateful for all that. I really love the fact that I had to fight for my life. I really love the fact that I was put in that situation of fight or flight, and learning to beg for something. Now I appreciate it because I didn't have to have it. So now I really love life differently, and I don't take it for granted every moment, because I know that the universe is so powerful and people come together for that. So we meet people in the trauma that we're in, but we also leave them in the trauma that we're no longer in.
Yeah, I agree.
I love that.
Yeah, it makes you victorious that we can even talk about these things openly and with pride, and say, this is our then and now. And I think that's beautiful.
Cheers, you got promise.
I like it. Agreed. No, I was going to say, since you ended up speaking on that, what role does art and culture play in community and healing and transformation? Because that's I actually wanted to ask you that one.
Those are also my number one passion, really, I would say, music, creating, writing the lyrics, singing and performing. I play auto harp. So I've my venue that I own, we put on shows because the whole point of it was to, how can we highlight good music, art, not good, real music and art, but also how can it change people's lives? Those are stories we're telling, and sometimes they're not always pretty. But when I was campaigning, I don't look like a typical elected official. I wear shorts all for the city council. If I'm going to be in neighborhoods, I'm not going to be dressed up. So I just try to change any of those things about me. When I'm promoting things in the city, I very much am in tune with DIY scenes and the kitchens and the folks who are typically not taken seriously, and bringing them to the forefront too, so that they be a part of changes, and that people can see that what they're doing is just as serious as running a business or something like that. So I love that. I rock out and still go to city council. I think it's important for the community to see that.
I also, on a side note, want to give you a compliment on your calves. I'm telling you, ooh, baby, they're to die for. There you got calves for days.
That's the thing of being goofy. I like to dance around and be silly.
Because I'm telling you right now, I will get shin splints, cramps, everything, because I did a lot of jogging, like 5 miles a day on cement, and now that I'm a certain age, I feel it. So like I get the blood vessels breaking and stuff. Your calves are insane.
But thank you. Like I think it's just running around. So beans and
They're
rice.
insane. Everybody needs to look at these calves. They're good calves. They definitely hold you up tall. So I want to know, how has music really affected you when your voice, you didn't think your voice was ever going to be heard in a silence of healing?
So I really, when I was a teenager and I experienced sexual abuse several times as a child, and then when I was 14, and when it happened the last time, I seek solace with music. I mean, I won't lie, like back in my day, I'm almost 50, so with the cassettes and you're reading the lyrics as you listen to the music. And I tell you, like some albums really connected with me, and it was through them that I wanted to write my poetry and someday become a singer and use those stories to heal. And so that's what really got me involved in music. And I still, all my songs that I do are, they're typically about shit, but friends, family, nature, dreams, and I like to share those things. Now that I'm on a whole different path of healing and growth, a lot of the things that my songs coming up they're more up, they're more happy, I guess. So that is something that has really helped me. It was therapeutic for me at a time where, I was too young and wasn't open to have a counselor. So I think there is power in music, art, and poetry, and it's still serving me well, as I get older.
So is there a way
That's
that Moon
important.
Tortoise can get involved in singing for advocates? Because that's right up Moon Tortoise's alley and wants to do that so much.
Yeah, so my good friend Rebecca Jones, I met her. She lives in Shelby, but does a lot of work in not just Richland County, but neighboring counties. Who are supports for people who are, journey of being free of addiction and people re-entering the community from jail and prison. She's having a show in September. Oh, I get the date. I'll have to let you know. But she's pairing folks who are actively in recovery with musicians, poets, and artists, and then you'll get an opportunity to meet that person, and then create a piece based on that person's experiences and story. Then there'll be an unveiling of the poetry, the song, for the public and for that person that you're paired up with. So it really is a union of healing and creativity. And that's coming up, I think, in September. But there's a lot of ways. I mean, even the shows that my Goodwin, at La Luna, we do a lot of different shows for benefits, for fun.
Tell me about La Luna. What is that?
So I purchased a building in 2016 and moved in 2017. The upstairs, I live in a dance studio, but the downstairs is a storefront that, when I first bought it, typically you should have a plan for a building. I didn't. But I thought, hey, I was those creatives who I would beg someone to let me open up the show for them, or beg a gallery to put my art up there. And it was always no. So I got my own space. I would never turn anyone away. And so it's been nice to feature like first time and seasoned creatives. So we use it for everything. Shows, art shows, solo art shows, concerts. I do dance classes there, and some people will use it for different types of convenings if it's going to help other folks. So, but it's not just me. I have a group of friends who help operate it. My friend Kathy Goodwin is a community health worker, but she's also like the manager of art. So it's a public space created by local creatives. I just happen to it, and we called it. I named it La Luna in tribute to my family name.
I so want to participate and put on some events there. I would love to give back space around there.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
So, yeah.
I just fell in love with you a little bit.
Kimberly.
Is that okay?
No, Badger's hyping me up. I'm a musician and I'm 7 years sober, and I most of my music's about living in and poverty and overcoming addiction and domestic violence. So I feel like I'd fit in a little bit with you guys. It'd be awesome. I gotta look you up on the auto harp too.
No, we can do a collab. We just had a show last Friday. It was for we the mix up genres, and then my friend Christy Berg is her solo show's closing, but that's what we love. We want to do more open night, like once a month, open studios where people can come and bring their art, their poetry, their music, and just complete it, work on it there as you're with other folks to get to know other people. But no, we like I said, that space was created for what you're doing.
Moon Tortoise, do you have your guitar? Do you have your guitar by you?
Yeah.
Moon Tortoise, do your 30-second song real quick.
Do a 30-second song.
Your 30
get off
my grass. Get off my grass.
Right.
Oh, nice.
I didn't plan on it.
I know.
I didn't really plan on playing. But hey, I'll do it.
I live vicariously through Moon Tortoise, and it's joy to me.
Because I don't have any recorded music anymore.
Moon Tortoise's dad and him built harpsichords. They built harpsichords for years, and his dad was a big sound harpsichord, whatever you call them, enthusiast, and everybody would go to the opera to purchase his harpsichords to play, and yeah.
Well, we're luthiers. Build harpsichords and forte pianos.
Nice. I love harpsichords.
Yes.
I don't even know what they are, but it's so intriguing.
Oh, they're like a saxophone. Anyway, no, it's so bad. No, they're not. They're stringed instruments. I'm not going to get into a dissertation on harpsichords and pianos. Both keyboard instruments. Wonderful. I'm going to play a song. You make me play.
Okay.
The sun turned black and I hate it. I woke up in a storage unit behind the Costco. I keep coughing up locusts. The dark lords in my ear say you can't trust the neighbors. Oh, I'm sorry that I got a trauma dump. All of this on a stranger. Anyway, get off of my lawn and don't yell at my dog. I didn't shit on your cornflakes, so don't string me along. I wasn't born yesterday, so please don't push your luck. It's just style around the jet. I work for the city, driving a turnip truck. That's it. It's actually
get off my lawn.
Nice voice too.
Don't he? Hey, he almost sounds like a Johnny Cash's, like Johnny Cash / I don't know, like a bluesy soul kind of thing.
That was very clever.
I love the blues.
I love Moon Tortoise's voice. The best part about living with Moon Tortoise is being in Moon Tortoise's space. It's just beautiful.
My face.
Space. Gucci, get down.
Oh, I thought you said base.
No, space in your space. Gucci.
No, I love Badger. Always Badger.
Oh,
and
they
I love
see
Gucci.
me. Gucci.
No, music's really important, really, right? Because I'm wearing all black right now, and that's not. I'm gonna tie this in just because I have to. It's on purpose. That's because a wonderful person passed away today, and he was really important to music, Mr. Osborne. And you'll notice that if you open up Facebook right now, we're probably not getting any views compared to whatever the hell is going on with Ozzy Osbourne. His Democrat, Republican, state, gay, whatever, whoever the hell you are, you love Ozzy and you are sad today that this happened. And that's how big music is, and it's lovely.
Fine, yeah. But wow, 76 years old? Wow, what a life though, creatively.
Yeah.
Everything.
You know what we talked about today is that if anybody could die being who they say they are, he died saying he was Ozzy.
Yeah.
Ozzy Osbourne, and no one could tell him anything different.
It was just because and this is I feel like I'm getting older because just yesterday we lost I the actor who played Theo Huxtable. I forget, I should know his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just like our, I love the Cosby Show growing up, and then you have Ozzy. It's just like that's when I really feel my age. I mean, for me, it was when Sinead O'Connor died. I was like, no, that they changed your life.
That's
So
terrible. I heard Stone Temple Pilots on the oldies stations. Terrible.
I want to ask SGF Graham, who just showed up. I want to ask SGF Graham, give me something that you're proud of yourself about.
I'm gonna name one. Putting my foot down and the progress I'm making on getting this album out. Like the legitimate, legal, everything that I'm doing to get it out. Like this is by far the most strenuous and focused I've been in a long time. I'm proud of myself for that.
Nice.
I love that for you. I love that. So we have more comments real quick, Moon Tortoise.
Cool Vibes introduces. Yeah, you're welcome, Kim. Respectfully said, of course. Mary Paquette, people are looking for something different, and I think you'll be such a positive change. Someone just like me. Love your energy. Thank you, Mary. Oh yes, lots of power in arts from Mary as well.
I agree. In our community, I live in downtown Mansfield, and I lived down there since 2009 when there weren't a lot of businesses, and people weren't looking to live and have business there. Now there's wait lists. I mean, right now it's kind of rough because of the construction, but downtown has really transformed, and that is because of the creatives, the artists, the musicians that were rooted there, and that's what really brought in a lot of revitalization. So I think that it's so powerful, not just visual, but there's an energy that people want to be a part of. And luckily we have a community that supports art and music, and we have a huge scene.
I walked awesome. Down. I walked down where I was at the Salvation Army, and I'm trying to get myself uncomfortable, because I'm comfortable away from people. I'm comfortable by myself as an introvert, and I'm trying to get myself uncomfortable so that I can grow bigger. Yeah. So I went down to the Salvation Army, and I was at the food pantry, and I heard this beautiful sound coming from over by this food truck, or kitty corner from it, right where the construction is. Someone was playing a guitar and just singing. And I was just like, where's Moon Tortoise when I need him? Because that's exactly where the kind of life we want to live. It be on compounds, or just traveling around and being around people that just want to barter, exchange, and heal and love.
Yeah.
And it was such a beautiful sound down there.
But yeah, I think that there's beautiful power and healing and unification through the art.
You froze again a little.
Yeah, no, it was skipped. I thought we skipped there.
Yeah. Let's ask another question.
So, that's what I am thinking here. We're not going to get through all these questions. It's impossible.
I know.
Why is seeing any progress how Mansfield? Have you seen any progress in how Mansfield addresses mental health and homelessness, or is the system still failing people?
We've had a lot of positive changes for that. Before I got between 2020 and 2021, we saw an uptick in homelessness. We had a lot of folks coming to our community. Mansfield has a lot of resources. I would say we're resource rich, but coordination poor, because what we don't have is an adequate housing. So we had a lot of people who had access to food, but they had nowhere to stay. And with the homelessness issue, people were unhoused for different reasons. Some people were vets. Some people were, unhoused, and they were looking for affordable housing. Some were choosing to live that way. It was a big, different factors playing behind it. But there was some safety concerns when people were fighting or, assaulting. So because of that, working closely with our Richland County Commissioner and city to help create the Mansfield Homeless Response Task Force, which is a unique solution. It's pairing a social worker with a police officer who's trained, and they go out in the community. They go to visit encampments, and they try to figure out what the needs are for the individual, if the person wants help, and go from there. So it's a good partnership. So it's not just someone saying, get out of here, you're going to get arrested. But we're seeing a lot of younger people in our community who are unhoused. One thing we've been talking about a lot in the community is youth who are aging out of the foster care system. Once they turn 18, a lot of those youth don't have families and guardians, and some of them are kind of on their own. I know someone who's working with someone who is 18, and they're literally sleeping out downtown right now. It's really bad when we only have one homeless shelter that is at full capacity. We don't have a lot of transitional programs, housing. So it's just, even though we've done a lot of progress, there's still a lot of things we need to work as a community. I know it's happening nationwide, but that's one of the things I've been focused on a lot is, which partners, which organizations, which churches. If you have a building, how can you contribute to giving someone a place to stay in the heat and the cold? Right. And the same thing with mental health. Luckily we can talk about it. Years ago, we had to be quiet because we were embarrassed or you didn't want to know your business. But, I'm on the board of NAMI. I love working with them because they really do cast a wider net for people of all ages, all walks of life. And but I think also we have so many resources in the community that some people, they forget it as well, which is why I tell them to call 211 so they kind of can tune into the hub of supports that we have in the county.
I like that. SGF Graham, do you have a question? We can't hear you. You're far. Oh, hold on.
Uh-oh.
Okay. A little bit of lag, and if he has to, he will jump off and then answer in the comment section. But okay. Yeah. We've noticed that too. I've noticed that the internet has been really stopping us from getting our voice out a lot. And that's why we want to get to the streets. We want to just be out there and just talk to people and not worry about technology, because technology is not where it's at. You can't make it by talking to somebody. You got to really be able to be there, and they want to feel your energy.
They do.
So what's it, I apologize. What's it like witnessing all these people of violence and not having no one speak on it and not finding out anything unresolved?
It's, I'll never know what the families feel like, but I just know that it's overwhelming. Michelle commented earlier, and I know a lot of other, close friends and longtime from the community who, they happen to be haunted by the fact that they still don't know. And I think the issue with the community with the tragic and untimely death is, I think that the people do know who the the folks were who were involved in these murders. I think there's such a fear of retaliation, and even though we as a community tell folks, there's ways you can report these details anonymously, I still think that there's fear because when you put your ear to the streets, the streets are talking, and it just kind of seems like the frustration from the families are like, hey, we know more than is being put out there. But then also on the flip side with the, I think with the police and the prosecutor, they can't really disclose a lot because it's still a pending investigation. So there's that balance. But my heart goes out to them, and I just think but I think when that's not enough, when there are events that are vigils and gatherings. And I think there's some elected officials, they want to go, but they don't want to be associated with maybe the anger of it. And I don't mind that, because that's coming from a real place, and I don't think it's a bad that you live in a country where you should have the right to ask questions. And if and there's a reason why people are emotional. It's horrible. And I think it's more frustrating when it's more than just one case that's not solved.
What's the duties of a councilman? Because I have no clue what you do. I don't know who you are.
Before,
I didn't even know myself. Really, we're legislators. There's 9 of us. We have 6 wards in Mansfield. I represent the 5th, and we really vote on important things. We meet every first and third Tuesday of the month. We're on committees, and we're the ones who help see the direction of laws and things are going to be put into place in the community. But that honestly is the most boring part of it for me, because I hate just going to the meetings. I said if I were elected, I would treat it like outreach. So my favorite part is being in a neighborhood, helping with trash cleanups, helping with people who are unhoused. And I think I tend to take it a run like I did with my job, like community health worker type style. But the role ultimately is to help establish different laws and make sure that things are being paid in the city. But my passions are being more in the neighborhoods and helping and even marketing, like my social media. I try to keep it active so that people, in my ward who, when they told me before I'm campaigning, they said, well, we'll never see you. So I'm like, no, I want to keep my promise, because they're so used to seeing elected officials. They never show up. They only show up when it's time for re-election. So I made a vow that I would be out all the time and helping out.
I love that. I don't know nothing about the political party. Like I said, I rainbows and butterflies and puppies and everything that makes you go ee. That's what I love. So I don't pay attention to none of that, because I don't live by this law. So
and I don't watch national really. I just really focus on what's happening in our community, and I should maybe start paying more attention nationally, but I'm comfortable just focusing on the city right now.
I like that. Can you see that, Moon Tortoise?
I can. SGF Graham, what changes have you been able to implement for the 5th ward that has improved the community?
Well, thank you. That's a good question. So I would say in my ward, we've conducted since 2021 cleanups. And I know when you hear cleanup, you don't really think it's a big, but it's trash and blight has always been a top 3 complaint of our entire community. We're not just talking like paper, we're talking like mattresses, we're talking about like furniture and people dumping their own trash, and tend to be plagued in neighborhoods where seniors are living, and then they're experiencing pest issues. So it's been really fun to organize those monthly cleanups in every part, divvied up in Ward 5. So I'll say that would again, I think I'm pretty much known for working with the homeless response task force, helping with those who are unhoused in those areas, because we get complaints from constituents. Hey, there's a homeless person squatting in the vacant house or the vacant building next to me. So it's nice to, work with the social worker and the police officer and figure out ways to help this person who may be in dire need. Some things I voted for that I weren't really passionate about. One thing I think that if you're voted to represent someone, your opinions really should go on the back burner, and you vote for what the majority of the people want. So, for instance, there were 2 issues in the past 3 years. One was, putting speed bumps on Park Avenue to people from cruising. And, at first I was like, good idea, but the many people who reached out to me said, no, that's dumb. We should be able to cruise if we're just going the regular mile, we're not speeding. I'm like, you're right. So I was the only person who voted against that. I was also so many months voted in support of dispensaries in our community. I was the only council person who voted against the firework ban, and that was something, like I personally not invested in fireworks, but it was presented that the city wants to ban it, and I voted against it because the people in my ward, they were like, the majority were like, we don't want to ban it. Why can't we have fireworks from at least 4 days? So those are some things there. But I would say my biggest impact, I feel, has just been working in the neighborhoods and even helping seniors try to identify new places they can live at. So I love that. I mean, I put myself out there more, so that's probably why I get more attacks when it does happen. But those are probably some of the notable things there.
I'm proud of you.
Great question, great answer.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Your mom.
We got Becky Davis.
Hi, Mom.
Jumping on. I applaud you for all of your strength and stepping in other people's shoes and sharing your stories. Everybody has a testimony, and all of you truly make an impact. Thank you all. Love you, son. And then a bunch of hearts.
Oh, thank you.
That's adorable.
And she's been my big.
Good because
No.
yes.
Go ahead. You said what?
It's good because
No, she's.
it's good because I see. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Terrible.
who?
You go.
Go ahead. I want to hear what you have to say.
It's nice, my mom has been, we were never like a family who were paid attention to local government. We focused on presidential elections. I never cared about voting for judges and councilmen and commissioners because they weren't getting all the attention. It was the sensationalized presidential thing. So once I started to pay attention, it's been, it makes a bigger difference. It starts at home, and I see my mom really seeing that as well. And, she's there beside me too. And I think it's been rough for her too, because people would tag my council, social media and things that have nothing to do with the role. It's just, it can be hateful and ugly. And I just tell my family, please don't reply. Please don't reply, So I think it's harder on family too when they see that your people are they're not understanding what you're doing and trying to do, and they just try to be really nasty. So that has to be hard for a mother sometimes.
Yeah, because Mama Bear don't play, and I will be out there.
Right?
Yes.
Just saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a struggle often overlooked, I believe.
I felt that. I'm telling you.
What I was going to say was, I see these politicians and stuff on TV, and even my state representatives, and I don't really get a chance to talk to them. And I listen and see what's happening, and it doesn't make any sense to me. But when I listen and talk to you personally in a sit-down interview, which is really wonderful, I understand what you're saying. I understand where you're coming from, and I do feel like you're a person who lives in the community who wants to get things done, and I appreciate having that aspect put in the forefront. We need more humanistic approaches like that. And if y'all are okay with it, I'd like to jump into SGF Graham's comment, but that's up to you, Badger.
Yes.
Okay, because it's pertaining to that. Cleaning up the environment is definitely a plus. What's the income average in the 5th Ward? What's the rental average? As a councilman, you have the power to have a community meeting and teach your community how to write and submit grants personally.
Those are good questions. So the Ward 5 is comprised of, I'd say it's the biggest ward in the city, but it has the least amount of residents because it's mostly airport and our 2 prisons. So those who are incarcerated are unable to vote in Ward 5. And our Mansfield Lawn Prison is all factories and hangars. So although people work there, they don't necessarily. And it also includes downtown Mansfield and the Westinghouse area, which are areas that have got a lot of investing in. They've been disregarded for decades. So it's nice to see those finally use these funding sources from the state to revitalize it. But I was that it's also entails a lot of north end neighborhoods where I grew up at, where it is considered low income. It's it's like I said, very very black and white, not a huge like Asian and Hispanics like bigger cities, but it's growing in that sense. And I would say that the rent, if for those who rent, it's scary because people can jack their rents high. Ever since 2020, we've seen influx of landlords who, not all landlords, but some landlords who would, who would evict folks or kind of use bully tactics, making them think your 3-day notice is a eviction, and then you have nowhere else to go. Like I said, and there's also situations where tenants have, destroyed the property, so they were evicted. But I think the you're asking me like the rent. It's kind of weird because the apartment I rented on the square before I bought my building was about $450 from 2009 to about 2015. I believe that rent now close to $800, and that to me just doesn't seem right for an apartment. It doesn't seem affordable. It's also not something that most creatives and most people can afford if you're an empty nester or you are age out to foster care. I just think that we're in a huge epidemic with trying to find housing right now because, and if you look deeper to our metropolitan housing, there's holes on Section 8 vouchers. I mean, people need them so badly, and people don't necessarily want to. They'll stay where they're at, even though their rent's getting higher and higher because they're afraid if they move, they're gonna have to sacrifice the neighborhood that they're in, their school district, and stuff like that. So, but then on the flip side, in the county, we're seeing a lot of housing development in areas like Belleville, more rural areas. But in my ward, it's tough. I'll say that because we have a lot of the elevated living, which are apartments above floor, that a lot of people are living there. We're hoping that we can renovate some of the buildings that aren't inhabited. So it's just tough right now.
So what about grant writing?
And you say grant writing, thank you. So grant writing, we have a few organizations. I've actually one is NECIC where I used to work at. They offer grants for not for housing necessarily, but for things in the neighborhood. And those are things that they're accessible, and I can obviously and would love to steer people to. But our codes and permits, our community block grant money is money put in place for for either businesses or for housing. That typically, it's not something that is available all year long. It's like most things get depleted early in the year. But I think that there are, when I want to know about grants, I typically hit up our mayor. To be honest, Mayor Perry. She comes from an economic development background before she was our mayor. So, and the Richland County Foundation is another resource. If you're a nonprofit, I actually talked to them today about a business that were in need of something. So I would say the Richland Area Chamber, if you're a business, Richland County Foundation, and our mayor too. But I mean, I've only been involved in one type of grant. That's more like the. But I can, like I said, part of my role is connecting what I don't do personally, connecting folks to those other people who are doing it.
Okay. You have something to ask?
Yes, I was just gonna make a statement about the housing. Although Metro is appreciated, you know, I originally moved to Mansfield from Columbus because it was cheaper. And I found it very, very hard to get housing because I didn't qualify for Metro. But everything was listed for Metro. All the houses basically were for Metro. Even the apartments were for Metro. So I I mean I didn't think anything was wrong with it, having giving them the money, out of my paycheck for the rent, but you would rather have it from Metro. Um I do understand that there's a waiting list and everything, but how are they going to divide that so that everything isn't just centered on that? Because there's some people where you can't have housing through Metro, and it's a struggle for them. I was in a hotel for a couple months,
Yeah.
just trying to find someone who would take the $900, the $800, whatever amount it was, because everything was listed on Metro.
Yeah. And it's so complicated because I was actually considered being on the board for metropolitan housing earlier this year, but I wasn't chosen. I think because the conflict of interest. Because sometimes they come to Mansfield City Council and they ask for funding, so that would have been a conflict of interest, and they operate differently. The city, but what you're saying, I hear a lot of from my friends health workers for the folks that they're trying to link supports with. And even, we have some prime housing development that's in the process of happening on Klein Avenue, on OC Hill, Mill Iron, Foundation bought the AT&T building off of Lexington. So which is going to be affordable housing. So I'm wondering, here's how we can work with metropolitan housing, to work at, because I know landlords are property owners personally who some of them are very open to, working with Metro, and some are like, nope. But and I haven't really been on done an apartment or house search for quite some time since I've been where I'm at for a long time. So I think that's something I need to do to see what the rent is looking like these days for folks and families. Because even folks are getting older, and I mentioned earlier, nesters, they want to downsize from their houses. They want to live where that's going to be where they can be proud of, and for those who who don't have a car, have living on a bus line is important. So I don't know if I answered that altogether, because Metropolitan, I need to start going to they have free public meetings every month, but I have a senior in my ward, and I've known her forever, and we're trying to figure out how we can help her. Hers isn't more of a metropolitan, it's more of a Medicaid thing, and it's a lot to take in. And so that's why I say first call 211. Literally call 211, and they can break it down for you. They help me out so much, and I give them credit so that people don't think that I know it on my own, that I'm like, nope, I learned from this organization.
Absolutely.
I like where we're renting right now. I don't think it's that expensive. The thing is, though, the cost of living is different here.
Yeah.
You don't get paid well. You don't get paid well unless you're doing fast food jobs. If you're in the factory, or if you're in the medical field and stuff, that's not a great pay here.
Yeah.
Fast foods are better pay, and it's just weird to me. I can't wrap my head around you have to have a degree to be a social worker, and you have to have a bachelor's, yet you make less than someone at McDonald's.
So I'll be real transparent. So in April 8th, me and a group of folks got laid off from our job at the IC. It was public, they're undergoing a lot of experiences, and it was abrupt layoff before. So okay, what am I going to do now? And so I waited a little bit, and I was looking at and stuff like that. And what you're saying is exactly true. You can get paid $20 at a fast food place, but then you look at a case manager job, it's like $16 an hour. I think jobs where you're required to be there for folks, and that takes in, you're absorbing so much more, they tend to be the ones that pay less. So you have to really go for a demanding industrial job or fast food. So I was kind of surprised at the amount of jobs around here that were still like 15 an hour. And so even someone like me who with city council, you get a monthly check, but it's not a full time. You still have to have your full time living. My duties as city council is not I need to have a full time job still. So kind of weighing out my options, looking, I'm thinking, wow, there really is not a lot of options out there. Then and then you also figure if you have a degree or you don't have a degree, you have you made a mistake in life and someone's going to judge you because you have a felony or something like that. It's just it just makes it harder and harder. And I can see why people get discouraged and take matters in their own hands, and and they do what they need to do to support themselves and their families. So yeah, I think that we do have a lot of jobs, but there's still like we still need more jobs, you know.
So I'm gonna introduce my husband. He's on break real quick. So Danny, I want you to say something that you're proud of yourself about, and then you can ask a question.
Well, I'm proud of myself for continuing my healing journey, and yeah, that's one thing I'm proud of myself with.
Okay.
And and Aurelio, I'm familiar with. I want to throw in there real quick. My brother, he's really familiar with you, Matthew Holmes, and I let my wife hear the message. And when he saw the picture, he said your name. He said, "Oh yeah, he's one of my." He said he's my favorite people, and it's the entire city. I said, "The entire city." He said, "Yeah." I said, "I can see that."
You have an amazing family. I mean, I know a lot of your family members, and you all have great taste in music. That's for sure. And so, and I love what you're doing musically and entrepreneur. And you just have a great family. And it was nice hanging out on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely, and I appreciate you. I heard you mention NAMI, which set up in my question. When I was struggling with my mental health, and they helped me out a lot, and I can't remember the lady name. I told her because me, I try to do as much as I can in the community. I was really happy that or I was able to attend the K Day event, and knowing her and us, going to the same church, Aretha, I consider her family. So I was really happy that she asked me to attend that. And I try to do a lot of stuff. I know weekends is always my free days. A lot of stuff sometimes happen on Fridays and everything. Um, I would like to say though, like with NAMI, that's absolutely a great organization to help with, and thank you for everything you do for the community. I really appreciate that, and I know many others in the city do. Um, so thank you. And with NAMI, I guess what I would ask is, what things do they have in the future? Because I want to help them so much, and I've gotten the information, and I've kind of lost it, and well, I lost the paper or the card with the ladies' number on there and stuff. But I know that their goal is to help as much out as they can, and I would love to be a part of that. So. Um,
So NAMI, as a board member, I've been on there for 3 months now, and I'm pretty amazed with what they do because I thought I knew and I didn't. But they are a very small team of folks, and they have all bases covered, working with youth, working with seniors, just everything, and they're making it to where we can talk openly about mental health without being embarrassed about it, as we should not be embarrassed about it. But I do know that we had our board retreat last Tuesday, Wednesday, and they have some exciting things coming up. I can't disclose now because I'm not allowed to. But they're growing, and our hope is that with more funding, we can create more positions and more programs, and even start offer those to nearby counties, because some counties outside of the county, they're kind of I don't want to throw shade, but some of them act like unmet mental health needs isn't a reality when it really is. So it's like they're afraid to talk about it because they don't want that stigma on their counties. I feel like NAMI is going to help break that down. But my dream is that they create more programs, more team members, because they're really small group folks doing magic right now.
All right, great news, and I know once again, like I said, it was great seeing you. I'm sure we'll run into each other at other events. Anything that's the community have. I know my wife, and she really wants to, be a part of that and stuff. So, we're down to help out in any way that we can. And thank you again, once again, for everything you do.
Well, thank
What's
you.
what's your positive message?
Oh yeah, my positive message is to be happy because life is too short to not be. It's plain and simple.
Good one.
I agree.
All right, guys.
Thank you for coming on.
All right, I love you. Keep doing what you do. Enjoy the rest of your night.
What did the SGF Graham say?
SGF says, big headache. Positive quote for the day. More like a challenge. I challenge all listening to take in the first 5 minutes waking up to yourself. Think nothing but positive. Do the same as you fall asleep. Know that you're worth it because I said so, but because you know so. You know so.
I like
There
it.
you go.
It's very good.
Thank you, SGF Graham.
So what is your positive message, Moon Tortoise?
Oh, what's my positive message? You know, pay attention. You mentioned at the beginning you do the straight ticket, right? That's a lot. How a lot of people have done it for forever now. I don't think the system's going to break or go away anytime soon, but I think it's really important to maybe look into more things, pay attention to propositions, pay attention to your ballots when you go vote, listen to your councilman and talk to people. And when you get opportunities to talk to people like you, like this, take them because you want to figure out who's batting for you. I don't know you personally, but it sounds like you're batting for the people. So the positive quote, get out there and keep talking to people.
Yeah, thank you. And we all have a role, we all have a role. Not just, you don't have to be a straight dressed person, a rich person to know that you can be an agent of change. And that's why our city is changing, is because people like us, who look like us, who have our experiences, we're finally we're making ourselves known, and we're actually being welcomed too.
So we leave the night with a positive message. So this is your turn to say a positive message, and then I'll have Secrets of the Moon say a positive message, and then I will say mine.
I think my positive message is, I was going through a lot of depression, and like the most dark my entire life was in 2018 for a number of reasons. And my mentor is Jim Kulig. He's the fellow who's the building that I have. He told me, that he's I think he's much, maybe I don't put years on him, but maybe in his late 70s. And he told me, one thing I wish I would have done, looking back on my life, is invest in my significant relation. I was so busy being ambitious with my career and boards and committees that slowly more and more of my life passed away. And now that I'm in the last chapter of my life, I really wish that I made more time for them. And I think about that a lot, is the power of relationships, knowing who is in that core, and not that people who are further in the perimeter aren't important. They're just, maybe they'll be in the core at some point. So I would say we all have those things. We all have those people, and I would encourage us to realize who are those significant relationships in our life, and who are the ones that that we may not have contacted for a long time, and recapture that. So there's power in those relationships.
Yours?
Mine's, I usually have a quote, but I'm just gonna say how I feel. I would say to be mindful and be careful of the things that you say. I don't think that people really know that they can manifest things with their tongue. So you have to speak highly of yourself and speak positive things into your life, so the universe can take over. And I do actually have a quote. It's a quote my dad always used to tell me, and it's so simple, but he used to say, "Be good to yourself."
Yeah.
And it's so simple, but it's so powerful. Everything starts with you first. You have to take care of your mental health, because how can you be there for others, or be a role for someone when you're not together? So be good to yourself.
Mama knows.
Yeah.
So my personal message, or my positive message, will be that someone said to me that they were proud of me for coming up to you and just speaking to you and saying, come on and whatnot. I want people to realize.
You did that?
Yeah.
Oh,
I want people to realize that everybody wants to be heard.
Yeah.
That's it. Don't treat nobody like they're better than you. Treat everybody as if it was you. And how did you want to be heard when you weren't heard?
Yeah.
So instead of worrying about what shoes they fill, why don't you just try to walk in the ones that you have and realize they too want to be heard? So I appreciate you coming on here and giving us your time and being the voice, because I had no clue what you did. And I know now, and I remember now, and I'm going to remember, and it makes a difference knowing.
Well, thank you. I think, I believe things happen for a reason, as I'll say that. And I think, I was drawn. I remember seeing you when I walked into the event, you were in the front aisle recording. I was like, okay, head rap, I see you. About you. I think, that. And I love that because you're a leader too in our community, and I think there's an exciting thing about being new to community. I kind of sometimes wish I lived in a whole different city where no one knows you. You can just kind of figure out things on your own. But the glory of a close-knit community is, you can really help. People can help you figure out where you can be a part of your tribe. It's really there's so much to do here in our community. What you're doing now is already huge, so you're already doing it. It just gets better from here.
It does. But thank you, though. Thank you for coming on and sharing this with us, and thank you for being such a pleasant light. I enjoy your energy as well.
Likewise for all y'all. It's been.
May your night be full of positive energy and high vibrations, peace and love. Love yourself first.
Let's get to the bottom of this one. Unspoken truths that I miss one. Tap into the minds of the people, rather acknowledge before I dismiss one. Atheists, Muslim, Christians, Buddhists, they all got usage. All got perspective, it's a collective. Get to the bottom where the truth is, where the heart's uncovered. Where you detox from all of the lies you smothered. Where them tries could have killed you, but with faith you recover. Yup. Peel off the makeup, we finna take off. Never said it'd be a cakewalk. Meditate till we charged up. Execute goes regardless. Decalcify my pineal. Breaking language barriers, we saw millennials. Planets passing age rotations, down me we owe. So down me we know. Sometimes we can be slow, that's why my ears open. Every drop you add could complete the ocean. Speak up, play your part too. Been vulnerable, it's so hard to reflect on all the juice like torture. It's on you, tell the truth.
Yeah, we about to have a good conversation. Yeah, let's go. We about to have a good conversation. Yeah, let's go. We about to have a good conversation. Yeah, let's go. Listen. Yeah, aim in the fit so you see in the mirror. Play with your focus and watch it get clear. Polish your crown, turn it up if you will. You live in the root, release what you're fearing, and watch it all rise. The righteous will hear it. They calling us twisted, I'm not even caring, because it's unseen. The mind is too barren. They won't even heal it. They pass it to cheering. We over here healing, conversing and listening. Know that the truth isn't always appealing, but end it with healing and find your beginning. Frequency positive, what you receiving. Perception is up to you, what you believing, what you retrieving. Mentally speaking, like that they breathing. No words from a heathen. Don't know it all, but together undefeated. Conversation, rather want it, you need it. Come fill up your tank before it's depleted. Don't care if you calling on Allah, Jesus, Buddha or Christian, not being facetious. Come to the tribe with the students and teachers. All got a voice, we the ears that'll listen. We the ears that'll listen. We the ears that'll listen. Conversation, rather want it, you need it. Come fill up your tank before it's depleted. Don't care if you calling on Allah, Jesus, Buddha or Christian, not being facetious. Come to the tribe with the students and teachers. All got a voice, we the ears that'll listen. We the ears that'll listen. We the ears that'll listen, hey. Yeah.
We about to have a good conversation. Yeah, let's go. We about to have a good conversation. Yeah, let's go. Praying for truth cause the world is so fickle. Keeping my mental, how clean is a whistle. Attention's a trap, they can lead you astray. Sneering this shit through the storm and the haze. Real conversations are lost in the greed. Others get lost in the web that it weaves. Sift through the rhetoric, uncover schemes. Knowledge inherited, this is imperative. I got a lot on my mind and I'm sharing it. Apples to oranges, it ain't no comparisons. I'm the type that'll never break character. I'm the type to make memories and cherish them. Trust intuition and doubt of disparity. Pursuing the echoes of wisdom. Chasing that moment of clarity. Conversation, rather one if you need it. Come fill up your tank before it's depleted. Don't care if you calling on Allah, Jesus, Buddha or Christian, not being facetious. Come to the track, we the students and teachers. All got a voice, who the ears that'll listen. We the ears that'll listen. We the ears that'll listen. Conversation, rather one if you need it. Come fill up your tank before it's depleted. Don't care if you calling on Allah, Jesus, Buddha or Christian, not being facetious. Come to the track with the students and teachers. All got a voice, who the ears that'll listen. Who the ears that'll listen.
true.